Yes, my friends, this season for the Miami Dolphins is oscillating between hope and despair. Many things are happening, especially when it comes to injuries, performance metrics, and slim playoff chances. I still talk about the playoff because there really is still a chance, but to be honest, I no longer believe in the performance of Mike McDaniel's team. I really wanted to be rooting for them like I always have, but the tiredness of not seeing progress is discouraging me. I hope that in 2025 we can rejoice with the new Miami Dolphins. If you are also upset with the Dolphins' performance in 2024, press the like button here on the video. If possible, comment like this. I hope to see changes in 2025. We still have a crucial game against the 49ers ahead and then against the Browns. These games will indicate the final fate of the Miami Dolphins. But now, let's talk about something important. Injury reports have revealed a mixed bag for Miami, with key players like Terron Armstead missing practice while others, like Tyreek Hill, are fully participating despite rumors and distractions. Meanwhile, Blake Ferguson's mysterious situation, marked by vague statements about his absence, raises more questions than answers. Ferguson has been ruled out for the remainder of the season, but the reasons remain shrouded in ambiguity, with hints of legal or personal issues compounding fan frustration. On the other side, the 49ers are grappling with their own injury woes, including multiple running backs on injured reserve and notable players like Nick Bosa and Trent Williams dealing with setbacks. This situation could provide an opening for Miami's defense, which has shown flashes of brilliance but continues to struggle with consistency, particularly in forcing turnovers and maintaining pressure in critical moments. Analyzing Miami's defensive matchup against the 49ers defense highlights a potential advantage. With the 49ers relying on a fifth-string running back, the Dolphins' defense, ranked 6th in total defense and 8th against the pass and rush, has an opportunity to capitalize. However, Miami's struggles in takeaways and pass rush remain a concern. The Dolphins are currently ranked 26th in sacks. Improving this metric is essential for containing the 49ers' passing attack, led by dynamic receivers and tight ends. Flipping the focus to Miami's offense, the challenges become more apparent. Ranked 20th overall, the offense has shown limited progress in the passing game, but remains abysmal in rushing, sitting at 26th in the league. With an offensive line plagued by injuries and subpar performances, the Dolphins face a formidable 49ers defense ranked 3rd overall. The pressure will be on Tua Tagovailoa to avoid costly mistakes and navigate a tough matchup against elite linebackers like Fred Warner. Key decisions by head coach Mike McDaniel also come under scrutiny, especially concerning personnel choices and adaptability. Rotations on the offensive line, including the continued use of underperforming players like Liam Eichenberg, have drawn widespread criticism. McDaniel's reluctance to make swift adjustments and his handling of time management and game challenges have added to the frustration of fans and analysts alike. As the Dolphins inch closer to the end of the season, the broader narrative questions whether the team has the resilience to rally. With slim playoff hopes still technically alive, the question of whether McDaniel has lost the locker room looms large. The next 3 games will serve as a litmus test for the team's heart and determination. Will they play for pride and the slim chance of postseason glory, or will injuries and internal struggles derail their efforts? Now, it's your turn, Dolphins fans. What do you think about the team's chances as they face these challenges? Share your thoughts. Do you see hope for a late-season turnaround, or is it time to start looking ahead to next year? The discussion surrounding the Miami Dolphins' turbulence is and extends beyond the immediate struggles on the field. As we delve deeper into the current state of the team, we find a roster grappling with injuries, questionable coaching decisions, and a lack of cohesion that has become increasingly apparent as the season progresses. The offensive line remains a glaring issue for Miami. Despite clear evidence of underperformance, players like Liam Eichenberg continue to see significant playing time. PFF grades place Eichenberg and Robert Jones near the bottom of the rankings among NFL guards, with Eichenberg yielding to sacks and 20 for pressures, and Jones allowing for sacks and 23 pressures. These statistics highlight the vulnerabilities in protecting Tua Tagovailoa and in establishing any semblance of a run game, which has plummeted from the league's best average of 5 yards per carry last season to a dismal 3.9 yards this year. What's even more puzzling is the continued benching of more experienced or promising alternatives. Veteran Isaiah Wynn, who has demonstrated versatility across all offensive line positions except center, has been left largely unused despite the glaring need for improved protection. Meanwhile, younger players like Andrew Meyer are reportedly taking reps, but remain sidelined when game day arrives. The refusal to make significant changes on the offensive line reflects a larger issue within the coaching staff's approach to adaptability and problem solving. Looking at the broader coaching philosophy, Mike McDaniel's tenure has come under increased scrutiny. His inventive offensive schemes, which initially appeared as a breath of fresh air, are now overshadowed by recurring errors in time management, poor in-game adjustments, and questionable personnel decisions. While McDaniel's charisma and creative play calling were lauded early in his tenure, these qualities alone are not enough to address the fundamental issues hindering the team. Defensively, the Dolphins are a mixed bag. While certain players like Emmanuel Ogbah and Andrew Van Ginkel have shown flashes of brilliance, injuries and inconsistent performances have limited the unit's overall effectiveness. The secondary, led by Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard, has struggled to maintain coverage against taller, more physical receivers, a critical weakness exposed repeatedly against elite offenses. Adding to the defensive woes is the inability to cover tight ends effectively, a problem that looms large against a 49ers team boasting top-tier talents like George Kittle. The final stretch of the season poses several critical questions. Chief among them is whether the Dolphins have the heart and determination to finish strong, even in the face of dwindling playoff odds. McDaniel's ability or inability to inspire and unify the locker room will be a defining moment for his tenure. Will the team rally around their coach and each other, playing with pride and proving their critics wrong? Or will they succumb to the mounting pressure and injuries, effectively conceding the season? Adding intrigue to this narrative is the future of the Dolphins' leadership, particularly General Manager Chris Grier. Fans and analysts alike have pointed out Grier's consistent failure to prioritize the trenches during the draft and free agency. Without significant improvements to both the offensive and defensive lines, the Dolphins risk squandering the prime years of key players like Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. A shake-up in the front office could be necessary to address these systemic issues. For now, the Dolphins' fate rests in their hands. The upcoming games will serve as both a proving ground for the team's character and a referendum on its leadership. With the 49ers up next, a team dealing with its own injury struggles, but still boasting a strong defense and talented playmakers, the Dolphins face a must-win scenario that will either rekindle their playoff hopes or seal their fate. Dolphins Nation, we want to hear from you. Do you believe this team has the fight left in them to salvage the season? Or are you already looking ahead to potential off-season changes? Let us know your thoughts as the countdown to a defining moment in Miami Dolphins history continues. As the Miami Dolphins season trudges toward its conclusion, the narrative has become one of reflection and revelation. Each game, each decision, and each injury sheds light on deeper issues within the organization, issues that could define the franchise's trajectory for years to come. One of the critical talking points is the leadership of General Manager Chris Grier. His decisions, particularly regarding the offensive and defensive lines, have drawn ire from fans and analysts. Year after year, glaring holes in the trenches go unaddressed, despite these being universally acknowledged as the foundation of any successful football team. The lack of investment in the offensive line has left Tua Tagovailoa vulnerable, and it has crippled the running game. Defensively, while there are standout players like Christian Wilkins and Yellen Phillips, the overall lack of depth and consistency has prevented the unit from reaching its potential. The spotlight also remains firmly on Mike McDaniel, whose coaching philosophy is now under the microscope. His ability to draw up innovative offensive schemes has not translated into the adaptability needed during high-pressure situations. Time management issues, questionable play calling, and apparent reluctance to bench underperforming players have raised concerns about his capacity to lead the Dolphins to sustain success. For instance, his decision to keep struggling players like Liam Eichenberg in the lineup despite repeated failures highlights a troubling pattern of sticking with the familiar rather than taking risks to improve.